back to the verdant path. Mount your cloud and head straight over the cliffs back towards the sun of snow. Fly into the valley that he was guarding, and at the back of that area, turn right and you'll see a small crack. Venture in and you'll eventually fly into a massive open area. Fly low here as the boss will act. Fly into the valley that he was guarding, and at the back of that area, turn right and you'll see a small crack in the mountain. Venture in and you'll eventually fly into a massive, fly into the valley that he was guarding, and at the back of that area, turn right and you'll see.
Nigga, I'll never upload shit for kids,
nigga. GG's, can't access final boss shrine until all of Wukong's armor is collected. Here's a map with explanations. Google game VLG Wukong.
Okay, appreciate you, bro. God damn it.
Yeah, so usually games like this, right? The reason they have a character creator is because they always have PvP.
To the rest of it. I think I found it.
PvP. But not this one for some reason. I don't know.
Oh, this must be him. Yeah.
It's like, alright, you know, the mythology. Everybody, they're like sucking Wukong off. And he's like, you know, this immortal with all kinds of immortality about him and this and that. But like, you know, how do you almost die from that fall, huh? Like, what the fuck? Like, it don't translate into the game, right? Come on. You ever play Kingdom Hearts? You seen Sora take fall damage? That nigga ain't never gonna take fall damage, cuz. No matter what height he falls from, no fall damage. Nigga jump off a fucking skyscraper, no fall damage, cuz.
Man, what am I supposed to do with this?
Like, what do you mean you can't jump on the cloud Nimbus during a fight?
A big one.
Maybe you can. I don't know. Everything suggests. Let me see. Myth Wukong cloud during battle. Is it that you can't do it, or like that y'all just shit at the game? I don't know. That's the type of stuff I would test, cause maybe you can't. I don't know, man.
This dude is way too messy. Like, by the time I get around to this motherfucker, I'm into the other side. Blizz, appreciate your love, man. What's good? Punk.
Hit the blue crystals on his hands, but be careful.
Yeah, I seen a video. That's why I was trying to get to around to the other side. He's so fucking big. By the time before I can get to the other side, he already getting back up. That's tough. All right, man. I hope I don't have to go back and sign his ass again. Motherfucker's actually crazy right there. That's crazy. All you gotta do is wait for him to sit still and hit his hands. know you gotta do.
It'd be weird if you could.
Cloud is too damn slow.
Hey, what do you mean you can't ride the cloud in the fight, cuz? What the fuck?
Just an ordinary day.
No, even though we got click to run and you know just move the stick forward to run, I'm an old dog and I haven't learned the new trick yet.
It stay on the shit, right? Did he dismount or did it like force him off? I don't know. It'd be weird if you can't use the cloud in the fight, right?
This is that. Damn, this motherfucker big. You gotta stay away from him because he starts swinging his goddamn arms.
I'm not gonna ask, cuz. Yeah. Maybe you could do it. I don't know. It'd be real strange if you couldn't, man.
Come on with the move, fella.
Same shit with like Hogwarts Legacy. It's like the idea that you're playing like a Transformers game and they like can't transform during combat or something. Cause it's like playing the Dragon Ball Z game and they can't fly. What are you talking about?
I'm not
playing
impressed,
like an
guy.
Iron Man game and he can't fly during combat.
A bitch.
Are you gonna do the damn thing or not? Thank you. What about the other one? Expose yourself.
I mean, like, how you fight them and you don't like jump on the cloud, cuz? I don't know how you summon the cloud.
You're not done. What about now? What about now? What about now?
You won't know that you can do it till you try and do it. And, like, people will never try and do this shit.
By the time I get all the fuck the way over here, it's gonna be over, right? Alright, of course. Run, stupid bitch!
How much damage you get? That's a lot more than I thought. Like, 15 more of those, and the fight will be
I
over.
gotta stay right here with him. I ain't got time for that.
$15 more. Took 45% of this whole.
Am I on the right side? Is this the crystal?
Yeah, right, so like you know the best.
Yes, fucking arms!
Were you supposed to be able to like make his power pole or whatever it's called? Just like any fucking
was my least
size.
favorite boss of the game. All right off the top is him.
So you
This
know,
dude ain't no
like,
fun to fight.
there's never any point where an enemy should be out of
Look
your
how far
range
away shit is. Really? Really?
ever.
All you gotta do
Because he
is...
can make the power pole extend for like fucking thousands of miles. But you know, yeah, whatever. Can't get on the cloud in a fight, cuz.
Playing Warzone? If they put solos back in the game, yeah. If not, if I'm forced to play solo fucking duos and solo trios, nah, I'm not. I would love to play Warzone, but not outside of my zone. If they're gonna shit on the solo resurgence community the way they did, I have no choice but to walk away.
They dropped him. And look, y'all, they saw him win solo
Imagine
quad.
if you had a room and a bed at somebody's house, and then one day you went there, and your bed was gone, your room was gone. They boarded it up, and it don't even exist no more. They piled a bunch of storage in there, and they boarded it up.
Look at that.
You don't have a
nutty.
room no more. And then you asking me if I'm gonna stay over here. I don't have a place to stay anymore. I can't play Warzone. Warzone pisses just you. Not your fault, right? But you just asking me that pisses me off. Not you personally, but it makes me remember that
Traumatized.
Activision took Solo Resurgence out the fucking game. That pisses me off, bro. And I don't entertain shit that pisses me off no more. I don't do that. So I gotta stay away from Warzone until they get their shit together. It's not my fault, it's their fault. Get on their ass about it. Get on Twitter and ask them when the fuck they gonna put Solo Resurgence back in the game. They should have never took it out. I'm getting angry just talking about it.
He never did
Fuck
52
Warzone.
v 52.
Fuck the devs who keep putting shit in, taking it out. Putting shit in, taking it out. Put all that, I'm done. All that shit got me with that one. That's where you got me at right there. That's too many games to be fucking playing. I done rode the wave and dealt with all kind of games that they playing. That one right there, I'm not gonna be able to do anymore. You're not gonna be able to break my heart over and over again the same way. No, we're gonna cut this shit off. Lost they fucking mind. Gonna take solos out of the game like we just unimportant and just like, you know, like we're so unimportant that you can omit us from the game and nobody will miss it. Nobody will miss it. No, that's how you feel? I feel disrespected individually as a player. Fuck Warzone. Unfortunately.
All those skins y'all bought
I hate
though.
to say it, but it is what it is.
What do you mean you can't use the cloud in the fight?
So if they put it back in the game, please let me know. I will pull up.
I don't know. Can you attack?
They put the shit back in the game. What I'll start doing is I'll do a Souls stream, one stream, and then a Call of Duty the next stream. We'll mix it up.
It seems like if you get on the cloud, be like manageable.
Best thing I can play is duos, and it's only on one map. All that type of shit. Playing hokey pokey with the game modes and the maps.
Smurf violent.
I don't got time for that shit. Tease me, you know. Please me, don't tease me. You know what I'm saying? Can't allow people in.
It's gotta be kind of easy to get lost in this game,
You know, play with you like that. You know, that's like staying with a woman, she cheating on you, she fucking beating you. You know, she goddamn stealing from you, she doing everything wrong, and you staying with her. Do that make any sense?
Some of y'all
playing Call of Duty don't make no fucking sense right now. My finger hurts just getting here.
Why does he keep jumping off the cloud? I don't understand, cuz you can like stay on the cloud the whole time.
Yeah, pause it. Pause it, because my finger hurts right in this damn cloud. What the fuck? Why do I gotta press the sprint button on the goddamn cloud? I should be able to just push the forward button and then go. But no, you gotta smash it continuously. Finger hurt.
I don't think you can attack people on the cloud. Look, nigga, I don't got the game.
Ignore the enemy's core base resistance. Ah. Okay. I'm gonna need that. I'm irritated. This guy is so big, he's irritating. Just the fact that he's this fucking big, bro. What am I supposed to do right there?
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
See a small crack in the mountain. Venture in and you'll eventually fly into a massive open area. Fly low here as the boss will activate sensing the 4 SCADAs and will shout, knocking you from the sky, and you will take fall damage. The fight itself is actually incredibly easy, you just need to wait for him to slam his fist into the ground. When he does that, smack the large blue crystals until they pop, dealing massive damage. After a few rounds of that, the boss will fall, and then you can climb onto his lifeless body for the final item, the SCADA of Consciousness. With your 5 fly into a massive open, will take fall damage. The fight itself is actually incredibly easy, you just need to wait for him to slam his fist into the ground. When he does that, smack the large blue crystals until they pop, dealing massive damage. After a few rounds of that, the boss will fall, and then you can climb onto his lifeless body for the final item, the Skada.
You know, I hate when, you know, shit seem to be fucking easy, and then, you know, it's a lot easier said than done. You know, like, yeah, or wait for him to fall over and then run up and hit his blue crystal, but he's so fucking big. His attack is so wide. I have to stay so far away from him. It takes so long to get to it, he gets up. You don't believe me? Watch.
Alright, campers, it's time for Camp Laszlo. Because he's a monkey too, okay?
The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Translated by Lionel
stay on that
Giles
cloud the
and
whole
narrated
fight.
by Robin Hood.
1.
Laying plans. Sun Tzu said, "The art of war is of vital importance to the state. It is a matter of life and death, a road either to safety or to ruin.
You know, I'd ask.
Hence,
but
it is a
like,
subject of inquiry which can on no
you
account
just
be
can't do
neglected.
it.
The art of war, then, is governed by 5 constant factors to be taken into
I think
account
it's like that Chappelle show
consideration
joint where he's
when
like,
seeking to
sorry
determine
officer,
the
I didn't
conditions
know
obtaining
that
in
I
the
couldn't
field.
do it.
These are 1. The moral law. 2. Heaven. 3. Earth.
He's like, I
4.
didn't know that
the
I
commander.
couldn't do that.
And 5. Method and discipline. The moral law causes people to be in complete accord with their ruler, so that they will follow him regardless of their lives,
Never dismount your vehicle,
undismayed by
God.
any danger. Heaven signifies night and day, cold and heat, times and seasons. Earth comprises
Maybe the fight
distances,
won't start
great and
till
small,
you get off the clock.
danger and security, open ground and narrow passes, the chances of life and death. The commander stands for the virtues of wisdom, sincerity, benevolence, courage, and strictness.
The art of war.
By method and discipline are to be understood the marshalling of the army in its proper subdivisions,
Sun Tzu
the graduations of rank among the officers, the maintenance of roads by which supplies may reach the army, and the control of military expenditure.
Man,
These 5 heads should be familiar to every general. He who knows them will be victorious. He who knows them not will fail. Therefore,
Mind you,
in your deliberations, when seeking to determine
standing
your
on
military
those rocks
conditions,
would never protect
let them
you
be
from,
made
like, a
the
real
basis of a
shockwave,
comparison
That's
in
not
this
shit.
way. 1. Which of the 2 sovereigns is imbued with the moral law?
That's the
2.
difference. between,
Which of
like,
the 2
games and
generals
stuff.
has
You
most
go play
ability?
Call of Duty and somebody drop a
3.
Hellstorm missile
With
on
whom
you,
lie the
right?
advantages
You get
derived
blown
from
away,
heaven
nigga.
and earth?
The shockwave, but like
On
from
which
a
side
predator
is
missile,
discipline
nigga, you
most
gone.
rigorously enforced? 5. Which army is stronger? 6. On which side are officers and men more highly trained? And 7. In which army is there the greater constancy both in reward and punishment? By means of these 7 considerations, I can
Diddy
forecast
Kong,
victory or
right.
defeat. The general that hearkens to my counsel and acts upon it will conquer. Let such a one be retained in command. The general that hearkens not to my counsel nor acts upon it will suffer defeat. Let such a one be dismissed. While heeding the profit of my counsel, avail yourself also of any helpful circumstances over and beyond the ordinary rules. According as circumstances are favourable, one should modify one's plan. All warfare is based on deception. Hence, when able to attack, we must seem unable. When using our forces, we must seem inactive. When we are near, we must make the enemy believe we are far away. When far away, we must make him believe we are near. Hold out baits to entice the enemy. Feign disorder and crush him. If he is secure at all points, be prepared for him. If he is in superior strength,
It's no
evade him.
crime to have. You could have
If
a
your
million
opponent
bottles
is of
of baby
choleric
oil.
temper,
You could have a
seek to
baby oil
irritate him.
factory in your fucking front
Pretends
yard.
to be weak, that he may grow arrogant.
Supply of baby oil, and you walk around
If
full
he
of
is
baby
taking
oil
his
naked
ease,
every day
give
with
him
a
no
robe over this
rest.
shit.
If
It's
his
no
forces
crime.
are united,
Why is that big?
separate
It's
them.
about humiliation.
Attack him where
Like
he is
other
unprepared,
terminology, they was
appear
using
where you are
shit they
not
got on
expected.
book.
These military devices leading to victory must not be divulged beforehand. Now, the general who wins a battle makes many calculations in his temple ere the battle is fought. The general who loses a battle makes but few calculations beforehand. Thus do many calculations lead to victory and few calculations to defeat. How much more, no calculation at all. It is by attention to this point that I can foresee who is likely to win or lose. 2. Waging war. Sun Tzu said, in the operations of war, where there are in the field 1,000 swift chariots, as many heavy chariots, and 100,000 mail-clad soldiers, with provisions enough to carry them 1,000 leagues, the expenditure at home and at the front, including entertainment of guests, small items such as glue and paint, and some spent on chariots and armor, will reach the total of 1,000 ounces of silver per day.
You can get sued for pretty
Such
much
is the
saying
cost
anything.
of raising an army of 100,000
They'll
men.
be like, yeah, they're a protected group.
When you
blah, blah,
engage
blah.
in
It'll be
actual
like his hate
fighting,
speech
if
and
victory
the
is long
litigation
in
of it.
coming, the men's weapons will grow dull and their ardour will be damped. If you lay siege to a town, you will
I'll be
exhaust
like,
your
oh,
strength.
I'll
Again,
stop a bitch
if
fallopian
the campaign
tubes
is
all the way
protracted,
out.
the resources of the state will not be equal to the strain. Now,
That's
when your
hyperbole.
weapons are dulled, your ardour damped,
For me, it's
your
stomping
strength
your
exhausted
fucking
and your
ovaries out.
treasure spent, other chieftains will spring up to take advantage of your extremity.
Dang.
Then no man, however wise, will be able to avert the consequences that must ensue. Thus, though we have heard of stupid haste in war, cleverness has never been associated with long delays. There is no instance of a country having benefited from
something to
prolonged
stand
warfare. It is only one who is thoroughly acquainted with the evils of war that can thoroughly understand the profitable way
I think
of
this fight's got
carrying
like
it
a
on.
second phase, my guy.
The skillful soldier does
Probably
not raise a second levy. Neither are his supply wagons loaded more
See,
than
like,
twice.
I don't know, games like
Bring
this,
war material with
I
you from
don't- I don't
home,
understand
but
me
forage
personal.
on the enemy. Thus the army will have food enough for its
They're like
needs.
Wukong.
Poverty of the
Just
state
extend
exchequer
stab
causes an army
and,
to
like,
be maintained
you know,
by contributions from a
Reaching
distance.
to the sky.
Contributing to maintain an army at a distance causes the people to be impoverished. On the other hand, the proximity of an army causes prices to go up, and high prices cause the people's substance to be drained away. When their substance is drained away, the peasantry will be afflicted by heavy
You ever seen
exactions.
Dragon Ball, where Goku's gotta like
With this
climb
loss of
according to his
substance
tower,
and exhaustion
and
of
it's like,
strength,
you know,
the homes
I
of the
climb
people
tower
will be stripped
when
bare.
a power pole will get you up there.
3/10 of their income will be dissipated, while government expenses for broken chariots, worn-out horses, breastplates and helmets, bows and arrows, spears and shields, protective mantles, draft oxen and heavy wagons will amount to 4/10 of its total revenue. Hence, a wise general makes a point of foraging on the enemy. 1 cartload of the enemy's provisions is equivalent to 20 of one's own, and likewise a single picule of his provender is equivalent to 20 from one's own store. Now, in order to kill the enemy, our men must be roused to anger. That there may
Best
be
part about
advantage from
streaming,
defeating the enemy,
for you can
they must
just, like,
have their rewards.
Watch somebody else do it.
Therefore, in chariot fighting, when 10 or more chariots have been taken, those should be rewarded who took the first. Our own flags should be substituted for those of the enemy, and the chariots mingled and used in conjunction with ours. The captured soldiers
Honestly,
should be
It
kindly
would have been
treated
nice
and
for
kept.
me if I figured this shit out a lot
This is
earlier.
called using the conquered foe to
I could just
augment
spectate
one's
them,
own
'cause,
strength.
like, alright, you know, nobody
In war,
else is
then,
doing this shit.
Let your great object
They're not like turning
be
their
victory,
PlayStation on
not
and like watching
lengthy
somebody
campaigns.
else or something.
Thus it may be known that
You
the
just
leader of
won't know.
armies is the arbiter of the
You
people's
won't
fate.
think of doing it.
The
'cause
man
you never
on
saw
whom it
anybody
depends
else do it.
whether the nation shall be in peace or in peril. 3. Attack by stratagem. Sun Tzu said, "In the practical art of war, the best thing of all is to take the enemy's country whole and
I've been
intact.
rapping for years.
To shatter and
Never
destroy it
realized
is
the
not so
orange and
good.
syringe.
So
fucking
too, it
rhyme.
is better to recapture an army entire than to destroy it. To capture a regiment, a detachment, or a company entire than to destroy them.
Look, I jumped.
Hence, to fight and conquer in all your battles is not
Orange
supreme
and
excellence.
syringe.
Supreme excellence consists in breaking the enemy's resistance
Orange.
without fighting. Thus, the highest form of generalship is to balk the enemy's plans. The next best is to prevent the junction of the enemy's forces. The next in
Shooting up
order
with
is
his
to attack
trusty
the enemy's army in the
orange.
field.
Yeah,
And the
shooting
worst
up
policy
with
of
the
all
trusty
is to besiege
orange
walled cities.
syringe.
The rule is not to besiege walled cities if it can
Hit 'em
possibly be
again
avoided.
if you want to binge.
The preparation of mantlets, movable shelters,
for another
and various
combo, right?
implements
Why
of
not?
war
Just,
will take up 3 whole
What's there to do
months.
but like spam
The piling
the
up
power
of
move?
mounds over and against the walls will take 3 months more. The general
Swinging,
unable to
like,
control this
alright, cuz,
irritation
like,
will launch his
you know,
men
you
to
fighting
the
this
assault
big ass
like
opponent.
swarming
Like,
ants.
what do you mean you didn't hit
Result
him,
that
man?
1/3
What
of
the
his
fuck?
men are slain,
What are you swinging
while the
at?
town still remains untaken. Such
What?
are the disastrous effects of a siege. Therefore, the skillful
You
leader
missed, like, the
subdues the
literal
enemy's
building,
troops
cuz, like, the
without
building's
any
right
fighting.
there.
He
You
captures
missed
their
it.
cities without laying siege to them. He
It could happen to
overthrows their
anybody. I'm
kingdom
not going
without
like, you know,
lengthy
this
operations
murder show
in the field.
specifically. It should happen to anybody.
With his forces intact, he
And
will
it could be
dispute the
game
mastery
design,
of the
'cause that's
empire,
what it looked like.
and thus, without losing a man, his triumph will be
What do you
complete.
mean I didn't like
This
hit
is the method
fucking
of attacking by strategy.
the
It is the
moving
rule
building?
in war, if our forces are 10 to the enemy's 1, to surround
How'd
him.
I miss the moving
If 5 to
building?
1,
cuz?
to attack him. If twice as numerous, to divide our army into 2. If equally matched, we can offer battle. If slightly inferior in numbers, we can avoid the enemy. If quite unequal in every
You mean
way,
you can't parry
we can
that shit?
flee from him. Hence, though an obstinate fight can be made by a small force, in the
Like,
end
he
it
really
must
not
be
stay on
captured
the
by
cloud?
the larger force. Now the general is the bulwark of the state. If the bulwark is complete at all points, the state will be strong. If the bulwark is defective, the state will be weak. There are 3 ways in which a ruler can bring misfortune upon his army. 1. By commanding the army to advance or to retreat, being ignorant of the fact that it cannot obey. This is called hobbling the army. 2. By attempting to govern an army in the same way as he administers a kingdom, being ignorant of the conditions which obtain in an army. This causes restlessness in the soldiers' minds. 3. By employing the officers in his army without discrimination, through ignorance of the military principle of adaptation to circumstances. This shakes the confidence of the soldiers. But when the army is restless and distrustful, trouble is sure to come from the other feudal princes. This is simply bringing anarchy into the army and flinging victory away. Thus we may know that there are 5 essentials for victory. 1. He will win who knows when to fight and when not to fight. 2. He will win who knows how to handle both superior and inferior forces. 3. He will win whose army is animated by the same spirit throughout all. 4. He will win
Look,
who, prepared
real
himself,
niggas don't let their
waits to
niggas
take
like
the
not
enemy
ride on their
unprepared.
fucking, you know, war
And 5.
cloud into
He will
battle
win
with a
who
giant
has
opponent.
military capacity and is not interfered
That's
with
all I'm
by
saying.
the sovereign. Hence the saying, if you know your enemy and know
Cats
yourself,
don't go to sleep
you
at
need
night,
not
cuz
fear the result of
They
100
hunt.
battles.
Cats hunt at night.
If you know yourself but not the enemy, for every victory gained you will also suffer a defeat. If you know neither the enemy nor yourself, you will succumb in every battle.
Already like accidentally fucked up a couple
4.
of times.
Tactical disposition.
Shout out to my nephew. What's his name? Be a
Sun Tzu said, the good fighters must put themselves beyond the possibility of defeat, and then waited for an opportunity of defeating the enemy. To secure ourselves against defeat lies in our own hands, but the opportunity of defeating the enemy is provided by the enemy himself. Thus the good fighter is able to secure himself against defeat, but cannot make certain of defeating the enemy. Hence the saying, One may know how to conquer without being able to do it. Security against defeat implies defensive tactics. Ability to defeat the enemy means taking the offensive. Standing on the defensive indicates insufficient strength. Attacking a superabundance. The general who is skilled in defense hides in the most secret recesses of the earth. He who is skilled in attack flashes forth from the topmost heights of heaven. Thus, on the one hand, we have ability to protect ourselves, on the other, a victory that is complete. To see victory only when it is within the ken of the common herd is not the acme of excellence. Neither is it the acme of excellence if you fight and conquer and the whole empire says, well done. To lift an autumn hare is no sign of great strength. To see the sun and moon is no sign of sharp sight. To hear the noise of thunder is no sign of a quick ear. What the ancients called a clever fighter is one who not only wins, but excels in winning with ease. Hence his victories bring him neither reputation for wisdom nor credit for courage. He wins his battles by making no mistakes. Making no mistakes is what establishes the certainty.
You could have used this game mechanic like the whole fucking time, but you just never tried.
Hence the skillful fighter puts
Because
himself
how
into
else
a
are you supposed to fight this nigga and you can't jump on the cloud, cuz?
does not miss the moment for defeating the enemy.
Alright, did he jump on the cloud when he got to that cricket?
Strategist
Or
only seeks battle after the victory has been won, whereas he who is destined to defeat first fights
fucking
and
jumping on that
afterwards
cricket,
looks
right?
for victory.
Might be too far
The
back.
consummate leader cultivates the moral law and strictly adheres to method and discipline. Thus it is in his power to control success. In respect of military method, we have firstly measurement, secondly estimation of quantity, thirdly calculation, fourthly
I'm not saying that at
balancing
all.
of chances,
You're saying that, not
fifthly
me, right?
victory. Measurement owes its existence to earth, estimation of quantity to measurement, calculation to estimation of quantity, balancing
really
of
been that much
chances
time?
to calculation, and victory to balancing of chances. A victorious army opposed to a routed one is a pound's weight placed in the scale against a single grain. The onrush of a conquering force is like the bursting of pent-up waters into a chasm 1,000 fathoms deep.
Damn, cuz finding this shit, oh my gosh.
5. Energy. Sun Tzu said,
I don't know if it's
the
before or
control
after.
of a large force
I
is
don't
the
know.
same principle as the control
I
of a
don't
few men.
know.
It is merely a question of dividing up their numbers. Fighting with a
I
large army under your
don't
command is no wise different
know.
from fighting with a small
So I've
one.
been streaming
It is
for
merely
2
a
hours.
question of instituting
Should be
signs
somewhere
and
around here,
signals.
right?
To ensure that your whole host may withstand the brunt of the enemy's attack and remain unshaken, this is effected by maneuvers, direct and indirect. That the impact of your army may be like a grindstone dashed against an egg, this is effected by the science of weak points and strong. In all fighting, the direct method may be used for joining battle, but indirect methods will be needed in order to secure victory. Indirect tactics, efficiently applied, are as inexhaustible as heaven and earth, unending as the flow of rivers and streams. Like the sun and moon, they end but to begin anew. Like the 4 seasons, they pass away to return once more. There are not more than 5 musical notes, yet the combinations of these 5 give rise to more melodies than can ever be heard.
Over here and we
There
fight
are not
our
more than
battle.
5 primary colours, blue, yellow, red,
Wukong
white and black,
cricket.
yet in combination they produce more hues than can ever be seen. There are not more than 5 cardinal states, sour, acrid, salt, sweet, bitter, yet combinations
Look,
of them
don't
yield
waste my
more
time.
flavours
Already
than can
fired
ever
your
be
boss.
tasted.
Alright?
In battle, there
They
are
got
not more
fired.
than 2 methods
That's
of
why it's
attack,
2 moons.
the direct and the indirect. Yet these 2 in combination give
Yeah,
rise
cuz,
to
what
an
you talking
endless
about, cuz?
series of maneuvers. The direct and the indirect lead on to each
You
other.
can
in turn.
clearly
It
rise
is
the
like
fucking
moving in a
cloud
circle. You never come to an end.
into the
You
battle.
can exhaust the possibilities of their combination. The onset of troops is like the rush of a torrent which will even
with
roll
an HP
stones
bar and
along its
everything.
course. The quality of decision is like the well-timed swoop of a falcon which enables it to strike and destroy its victim. Therefore, the good fighter will be terrible in his onset and prompt in his decision. Energy may be likened to the bending of a crossbow, decision to the releasing of a trigger. Amid the turmoil and tumult of battle, there may be seeming disorder and yet no real disorder at all. Amid confusion and chaos, your array may be without head or tail, yet it will be proof against defeat. Simulated disorder postulates perfect discipline. Simulated fear postulates courage. Simulated weakness postulates strength. Hiding order beneath the cloak of disorder is simply a question of subdivision. Concealing courage under a show of timidity presupposes a fund of latent energy. Masking strength with weakness is to be effected by tactical dispositions. Thus, one who is skillful at keeping the enemy on the move maintains deceitful appearances, according to which the enemy will act.
Oh well, man.
He sacrifices something, that the enemy may snatch at it. By holding out baits, he keeps him on the march. Then, with a body of picked men, he lies in wait for him.
Does
The
it
clever
look like
combatant looks to the effect of combined energy and does not require too much from individuals. Hence his ability to pick out the right men and utilize combined energy. When he utilizes combined energy, his fighting men become, as it were, like unto rolling logs or stones. For it is the nature of a log or stone to remain motionless on level ground and to move when on a slope. If four-cornered, to come to a standstill, but if rounded, to go rolling down. Thus, the energy developed by good fighting men is as the momentum of a round stone rolled down a mountain thousands of feet in height. So much on the subject of energy. 6. Weak points and strong. Sun Tzu said, "Whoever is first in the field and awaits the coming of the enemy will be fresh for the fight. Whoever is second in the field and has to hasten to battle will arrive exhausted." Therefore, the clever combatant imposes his will on the enemy, but does not allow the enemy's will to be imposed on him. By holding out advantages to him, he can cause the enemy to approach territory, or by inflicting damage, he can make it impossible for the enemy to show you. If the enemy is taking his ease, he can harass him. If well supplied with food, he can starve him out. If quietly encamped, he can force him to move. Appear at points which the enemy must hasten to defend. March swiftly to places where you are not expected. An army may march great distances without distress if it marches through
usually how it goes,
cause
you can use the cloud or like
you can be
whatever
sure
the
of
fuck,
succeeding
people
in your
would just
attacks
like
if you only attack places which are undefended. You can ensure the safety of your defense if you only hold positions that cannot be attacked. Hence, that general is skillful in attack whose opponent does not know what to defend, and he is skillful in defense whose opponent does not know what to attack. O divine art of subtlety and secrecy, through you we learn to be invisible, through you inaudible, and hence we can hold the enemy's fate.
This was a month ago.
You may advance and be absolutely irresistible if you make for the enemy's points. You may retire and be safe from pursuit if your movements are more rapid than those of the enemy. If we wish to fight, the enemy can be forced to an engagement even though he be sheltered behind a high rampart and a deep ditch.
Don't tell me y'all like so special needs.
Is attack some other place that you will be obliged
neglected the fact that you can probably just jump on the cloud
if
and
we
a
do
goddamn
not wish to fight,
right?
we can prevent the enemy from engaging us even though the lines of our encampment be merely traced out on the ground. All we need to do is throw something odd and unaccountable in his way. By discovering the enemy's dispositions and remaining invisible ourselves, we can keep our forces concentrated while the enemy's must be divided. We can form a single united body while the enemy must split up into fractions. Hence there will be a whole pitted against separate parts of a whole, which means that we shall be many to the enemy's few. and if we are able thus to attack an inferior force with a superior one,
you could jump on
our
a cricket,
opponents will
right?
be in dire straits.
What the fuck's the difference?
The spot where we intend to fight must not be made known, for then the enemy will have to prepare against a possible attack at several different points, and his forces being thus distributed in many directions, the numbers we shall have to face at any given point will be proportionately few. For should the enemy strengthen his van, he will weaken his rear. Should he strengthen his rear, he will weaken his van. Should he strengthen his left, he will weaken his right. Should he strengthen his right, he will weaken his left. If he sends reinforcements everywhere, he will everywhere be weak. Numerical weakness comes from having to prepare against possible attacks. Numerical strength from compelling our adversary to make these preparations against us.
Where they're like, you can
knowing
just
the place
jump
and the
on
time
flying
of the
nimbus
coming
whenever the
battle,
fuck you
we
want.
may concentrate from the
But you
greatest
can't do
distances
it like
in
after
order
you
to
get the
fight.
shit.
But if
That'd be
neither
weird,
time
God.
nor place be known, then the left wing will be impotent to succour the right, the right equally impotent to succour the left, the van unable to relieve the rear, and the rear to support the
Be
van.
very strange, wouldn't
How
it?
much more so if the furthest portions of the army are anything under 100 li apart, and even the nearest are separated by several li. Though, according to my estimate, the soldiers of Yue exceed our own in number, that shall advantage them nothing in the matter of victory. I say then that victory can be achieved. Though the enemy be stronger in numbers, we may prevent him from fighting. Scheme so as to discover his plans and the likelihood of their success. Rouse him and learn the principle of his activity or inactivity. Force him to reveal himself so as to find out his vulnerable spots. Carefully compare the opposing army with your own, so that you may know where strength is superabundant and where it is deficient.
Oh, he's still alive.
In making tactical dispositions,
attack.
the highest pitch you can attain is to conceal them. Conceal your dispositions, and you will be safe from the prying of the subtlest spies, from the machinations of the wisest brains.
I don't know, cuz.
All men can see the tactics
So would
whereby
be this
I
joint
conquer,
where I
but
went.
what none can see is the
I
strategy
played
out of
storm
which
games.
victory is evolved.
Me and my friends, we play
Do
shit
not
online.
repeat the tactics which have gained you
They
one
doing
victory,
like all kinds of
but let
questionable
your methods
shit.
be
like,
regulated
I'm like,
by
you know,
infinite
fighting against them.
variety
I'm
of
like, what are you doing, cuz? Aren't you trying to win?
Military tactics are like unto water.
And they'll be like,
Water
blah,
in
blah,
its
blah, like,
natural
nigga, how many
course
times we got
runs
fight each other?
away
And
from
you're
high
like, you still,
places
it's not
and
gonna work,
hastens
cuz.
downwards.
Basically.
So in war, the way is to avoid
see how I
what
play
is
against
strong
you? What are you
and to
doing?
strike at what is weak. Water
That's the
shapes
type of shit it'll be,
according to the
cuz.
nature of the ground over
What
which
are you
it
doing,
flows.
cuz? What's going
The
on over
soldier
there?
works out his victory in relation to the
That's why your
foe
grades are
whom he
like
is
that,
facing.
cuz you don't, like...
Therefore, just as water retains no constant shape, so in warfare there are no constant conditions. He who can modify his tactics in relation to his
It's
opponent
like when I watch
and
other
thereby
people
succeed
play
in
Devil
winning
May Cry.
may be called a heaven-born.
like 4 or something, right? And they're doing all this
The five
like,
elements,
just unnecessary
water, fire,
shit. And I'm
wood,
like, cuz, what are you
metal,
doing?
earth, are not always
I'm not trying to hit them like a
equally
million times. I'm trying to like,
Four seasons
you know,
make way
get them
for
the
each
fuck
other
out
in
of here.
turn. There are
I
short
don't want some
days
long
and
combo
long.
where I hit them
Moon
like
has its
fucking,
periods of
80
waiting.
times, cuz. That's stupid.
7. Maneuvering.
That's
Sun
my
Tzu
shit.
said, in
You,
war,
like, I
the
don't
general
know, used
receives
all
his
the
commands
styles
from
in
the
like
sovereign.
one combo. I'm
Having
like,
collected an army and
taking
concentrated
too
his
long.
forces, he must blend and harmonize the different elements thereof before pitching his camp.
It's taking you too
After
long to
that
do
comes
that shit,
tactical
cuz.
maneuvering, than which there is nothing more difficult. The difficulty of tactical maneuvering consists in turning the devious into the direct and misfortune into gain. Thus, to take a long and circuitous route, after enticing the enemy out of the way, and those starting after him to contrive to reach the goal before him, shows knowledge of the artifice of deviation.
But I can't even run.
Maneuvering with an
Is
army
it me?
is advantageous, with an undisciplined
Why am I running
multitude most dangerous. If you set a fully equipped army in march in order to
gotta
snatch an
know.
advantage, the chances are that you will be too late.
I had to find out.
On the other
Just
hand,
ask
to
this
detach a
goddamn
flying
shit.
column for the purpose involves the sacrifice
It'd
of
be
its
crazy if you
baggage
couldn't
and
jump on a
stores.
cloud in a fight.
Thus, if you order your men to roll up their buff coats and make forced marches without halting day or night, Covering double the usual distance at a stretch, doing 100 li in order to wrest an advantage, the leaders of all your 3 divisions will fall
Don't
into the
look like they
hands
force
of
you
the
off.
enemy.
It looks like everybody just jumps
The
off.
stronger men will
See,
be
that's
in
what I'm
front,
talking about, right?
the
Like, why
jaded
would you
ones
jump
will
off the
fall
cloud?
behind. And on this plan, only 1/10 of your army will reach its destination. If you march 50 li in order to outmaneuver the enemy, you will lose the leader of your 1st division, and only half your force will reach the goal. If you march 30 li with the same object, 2/3 of your army will arrive.
Pain in your eyes, but the hair
We
on
may
your
take
chest
it then
is
that an army without its baggage train is lost. Without provisions, it is lost. Without bases of supply, it is lost. We cannot enter into alliances until we are acquainted with the designs of our neighbours. We are not fit to lead an army on the march unless we are familiar with the face of the country, its mountains and forests, its pitfalls and precipices, its marshes and swamps. We shall be unable to turn natural advantage to account unless we make use of local guides. In war, practice dissimulation, and you will succeed. Whether to concentrate or divide your troops must be decided by circumstances. Let your rapidity be that of the wind, your compactness that of the forest. In raiding and plundering, be like fire.
That's weird, right?
In movability, like a mountain. Let your plans be dark and impenetrable as night, and when you move, fall like a thunderbolt. When you plunder a countryside, let the spoil be divided amongst your men. When you capture new territory, cut it up into allotments for the benefit of the soldiery. Ponder and deliberate before you make a move. He will conquer who has learnt the artifice of deviation. Such is the art of manoeuvring. The Book of Army Management says, "On the field of battle, the spoken word does not carry far. Hence the institution of gongs and drums. Nor can ordinary objects be seen clearly enough. Hence the institution of banners and flags. Gongs and drums, banners and flags are means whereby the ears and eyes of the host may be focused on one particular point. The host thus forming a single united body, it is impossible either for the brave to advance alone, or for the cowardly to retreat. This is the art of handling large masses of men. In night fighting then, make such use of signal fires and drums, and in fighting by day of flags and banners, as a means of influencing the ears and eyes of your army. A whole army may be robbed of its spirit.
Jump on a cloud while I'm
Commander-in-Chief may be robbed of his
why
presence
would you
of
not
mind.
be able to?
Now a soldier's spirit is keenest in the morning. By noonday it has begun to flag, and in the evening his mind is bent only on returning to camp. A clever general, therefore, avoids an army when its spirit is keen, but attacks it when it is sluggish and inclined to return.
And like, if y'all
This
can do
is
it,
the
how the
art of
fuck did y'all
studying
not
mood.
figure this shit out like immediately?
Disciplined
That'd be
and
the first
calm,
thing I would have
to
tried.
await the appearance of disorder and hubbub amongst the enemy. This is the art of retaining self-possession. To be near the goal while the enemy is still far from it. To wait at ease while the enemy is toiling and struggling. To be well fed while the enemy is famished. This is
hopped
the
in the
art
scene
of
and
husbanding
people
one's strength.
forgot how to use their brains
To
or something.
refrain from intercepting an enemy whose banners are in perfect order. To refrain from attacking an army drawn up in calm and confident array. This is the art of studying circumstances. It is a military axiom not to advance uphill against the enemy, nor to oppose him when he comes down. Do not pursue an enemy who simulates flight. Do not attack soldiers whose temper is keen. Do not swallow bait offered by the enemy. Do not interfere with an army
This is like
that
that
is
shit
returning
where you
home.
see like one nigga running and
When you
everybody
surround
else
an
is
army,
like, yeah,
leave an
go.
outlet free. Do not
Okay.
press a desperate foe too hard. Such is the art of warfare.
Man, the longer the fight goes on, the less I even want to play the
8.
motherfucker.
Variation in
This got
tactics.
to be the.
Sun Tzu said, in
to,
war,
like,
the
to call the
general
cloud is,
receives
like,
his
down on a
commands from the
D-pad,
sovereign,
so, I
collects
mean-
his army, and concentrates his forces. When in difficult country, do not encamp. In country where high roads intersect, join hands with your allies. Do not linger in dangerously isolated positions. In hemmed-in situations, you must resort to stratagem. In desperate position, you must fight. There are roads which must not be followed, armies which must not be attacked, towns which must not be besieged, positions which must not be contested, commands of the sovereign which must not be obeyed. The general who thoroughly understands the advantages of variation of tactics knows how to handle his troops. The general that does not understand these may be well acquainted with the configuration of the country, yet he will not be able to turn his knowledge to practical account. So, the student of war who is unversed in the art of war, of varying his plans, even though he be acquainted with the 5 advantages, will fail to make the best use of his men. Hence, in the wise leader's plans, considerations of advantage and of disadvantage will be blended together. If our expectation of advantage be tempered in this way, we may succeed in accomplishing the essential part of our schemes.
Force you off the cloud.
If, on the other hand, in the midst of difficulties we are always ready to seize an advantage, we may extricate ourselves from misfortune.
Man, I'd be pissed.
Reduce the hostile chiefs by
bought the game
damage on
and you could use the cloud and I watched everybody not use the shit.
Hold out specious allurements and make them rush to any given point. The art of war teaches us to rely not on the likelihood of the enemy's not coming, but on our own readiness to receive him, not on the chance of his not attacking, but rather on the fact that we have made our position unassailable. There are 5 dangerous faults which may affect a general. 1. Recklessness, which leads to destruction. 2. Cowardice, which leads to capture. 3. A hasty temper, which can be provoked by insult. 4. A delicacy of honour, which is sensitive to shame. And 5. Over-solicitude, which exposes him to worry and trouble. These are the 5 besetting sins of a general, ruinous to the conduct of war. When an army is overthrown and its leader slain, the cause will surely be found among these 5 dangerous faults. Let them be a subject of meditation.
Nobody knows.
9. The army on the march. Sun Tzu said, "We come now to the question of encamping the army and observing signs of the enemy. Pass quickly over mountains and keep in the neighbourhood of valleys. Camp in high places facing the sun. Do not climb heights in order to fight." So much for mountain warfare. After crossing a river, you should get far away from it. When an invading force crosses a river in its onward march, do not advance to meet it in midstream. It would be best to let half the army get across and then deliver your attack. If you are anxious to fight, you should not go to meet the invader near a river which he has to cross. Moor your craft higher up than the enemy and facing the sun. Do not move upstream to meet the enemy. So much for river warfare. In crossing salt marshes, your sole concern should be to get over them quickly without any delay. If forced to fight in a salt marsh, you should have water and grass near you, and get your back to a clump of trees. So much for operations in salt marshes.
That's crazy if you can't cut.
In dry, level country, take up an easily accessible position with rising ground to your right and on your rear, so that the danger may be in front and safety lie behind. So much for campaigning in flat country.
I'd be pissed, cuz.
These are the 4 useful branches of military knowledge which enable the Yellow Emperor to vanquish 4 several sovereigns. All armies prefer high ground to low, and sunny places to dark. If you are careful of your men and camp on hard ground, the army will be free from disease of every kind. This will spell victory. When you come to a hill or a bank, occupy the sunny side with the slope on your right rear. Thus you will at once act for the benefit of your soldiers and utilize the natural advantages of the ground. When in consequence of heavy rains up country, a river which you wish to ford is swollen and flecked with foam, you must wait until it subsides. Country in which there are precipitous cliffs with torrents running between Deep natural
the
hollows,
cricket not count?
confined places, tangled thickets, quagmires and crevasses should be left with all possible speed and not approached. While we keep away from such places, we should get the enemy to approach them. While we face them, we should let the enemy have us in the rear. If in the neighborhood of your camp there should be any hilly country, ponds surrounded by aquatic grass, hollow basins filled with reeds, or woods with thick undergrowth, they must be carefully rooted out and searched. For these are places where men in ambush or insidious spies are likely to be lurking. When the enemy is close at hand and remains quiet, he is relying on the natural strength.
I guess that's bad game design, cuz.
When he keeps aloof and tries to provoke a battle, he is anxious for the other side to advance. If his place of encampment is easy of access, he is tendering a bait.
Well, I'm not going to
Movement
buy the
amongst
game to
trees
find
of the
out,
forest
cuz.
shows that the enemy is advancing. The appearance of a number of screens in the midst of thick grass
It's like the
means
game
that the
don't
enemy
make you
wants to
jump
make
off the
us
cloud.
suspicious.
Everybody else just dismounts.
The rising of birds in their
the shit
flight
or
is the
something.
sign of an ambuscade. Startled
So-
beasts indicate that a sudden
I don't know,
attack is
cuz.
coming.
Yeah, fuck that armor.
When there is dust rising in a high column, it is the sign of chariots advancing.
When
The dust is low but spread over a wide area, it betokens the approach of
somebody
a
else I
conflict.
can
Steak
fight,
burger is
right?
back and
When it
ready.
branches out in different directions, it shows that parties have been
It's
sent to
actually one
collect
of the main
firewood.
bosses you need to defeat,
A few
but in
clouds
order
of
to do
dust
that,
moving
you
to
need
and
to
fro
pass certain
signify
stat
that the
checks.
army
For
is
starters, you need to
encamping.
use your cloud to elevate on top of
Humble
the boss's
words
back.
and
That's
increased
step number
preparations
one.
are
Step two
signs that
requires
the
you to have
enemy
at
is
least
about to
380
advance.
stamina. When you
Violent
interact with the
language and
grasshoppers
driving
that come
forward
out
as
the
if
first
to
time,
the
you'll
attack
jump around the
are
map.
signs that
You'll
he
have to
will
hold onto
retreat.
that interact button for
When the
3
light
full
chariots
jumps,
come
and
out
then you'll be
first and
automatically
take up a
passed.
position on the
For the next
wings,
step, you'll need
it is a
some
sign
resistance.
that the enemy is
I don't know
forming
the
for
magical
battle.
number you need, so I approached
Peace
it by
proposals,
respecting
unaccompanied by a
celestial
sworn
medicine,
covenant,
which you can do at
indicate a
Shudog in
plot.
Zodiac Village. I also
When there
made
is
sure I
much
had
running
the
about,
blue
grasshopper
powder on my
soldiers fall
cockroach
into
before
rank.
the interaction.
It means that the critical moment has come. When some are seen advancing and some retreating,
It's weird you can
it is
jump
a
on a
lure.
cricket on a
When the
fucking
soldiers
cloud, but
stand
like
leaning
nothing
on their
else.
spears, they are faint from want of food. If those who are sent to draw water begin by drinking themselves, the army is suffering from thirst. If the enemy sees an advantage to be gained and makes no effort to secure it, the soldiers are exhausted. If birds gather on any
Rhinos.
spot, it is
African.
unoccupied. Clamour by
African
night
shit, like
betokens
rhinos, cuz.
nervousness. If there is a disturbance in the camp, the general's authority is weak. If the banners and flags are shifted about,
Pay attention to
sedition
the
is
African
afoot.
animals, like
If the
lions
officers are
and
angry,
shit.
it means that the men are weary. When an army feeds its horses with grain and kills its cattle for food, and when men do not hang their cooking pots over the campfires, showing that they will not return to their tents, you may know that they are determined to fight to the death.
It's gotta be something.
The sight of men whispering
Why
together
do they
in
have
small
it
knots or
where you
speaking
can't
in
dash the whole
subdued
time?
tones
Because the game's
points
got
to a
load,
disaffection.
cuz. It's gotta
for the file.
load.
Too
Because your
frequent
fucking
rewards
PC or
signify
whatever
that
the fuck will
enemy is at
blow
the
up
end
if
of
it
his
don't.
resources. Too many punishments betray a condition of dire distress.
Same thing with like
To
Hogwarts
begin by
Legacy,
bluster,
where I'm pretty
but
sure you can
afterwards
like
to
jump
take
on a
fright at the
broom while
enemy's
you're
numbers
in combat.
shows a supreme lack
People
of
just
intelligence.
don't do it.
When envoys are sent with compliments in their mouths, it is a sign that the enemy wishes for a truce. If the enemy's troops march up angrily and remain facing ours for a long time, without either joining battle or taking themselves off again, the situation is one that
You'll
demands
never
great
get off your
vigilance
fucking
and
cloud, nigga.
circumspection.
Never.
If our troops are no more in number than the enemy, that is amply sufficient. It only means
walk
that no
into a
direct
trap.
attack can be made. What we can do is simply to concentrate all our available strength, keep a close watch on the enemy, and obtain reinforcements. He who exercises no forethought but makes light of his opponents is sure to be captured by them. If soldiers are punished before they have grown attached to you, they will not prove submissive, and unless submissive,
Jump on the
then
fucking
will be
cloud,
practically
nigga.
useless. If when soldiers have become attached to you, punishments are not enforced, they will still
let me get
be
a stream
useless.
of like, because I'm not a
Therefore,
piece of shit.
soldiers must be treated in the first instance with humanity,
There you
but
go.
kept under control by means of iron discipline. This is a certain road to victory. If in training soldiers commands are habitually enforced, the army will be well disciplined. If not, its discipline will be bad. If a general shows confidence in his men, but always insists on his orders being obeyed, the game will be neutral.
400 likes at least, I reckon.
10. Terrain. Sun Tzu said, we may distinguish 6 kinds of terrain, to wit, 1. Accessible ground, 2. Entangling ground, 3. Temporizing ground, 4. Narrow passes, 5. Precipitous heights,
see, this is one of them
and
where
6.
I'm like, ain't no way you
Positions
can't jump on a
at a great
cloud.
distance.
There's no way.
Ground which can be freely traversed by both sides is called accessible. With regard to ground of this nature, be before the enemy in occupying the raised and sunny spots, and carefully guard your line of supplies. Then you will be able to fight with advantage. Ground which can be
the whole idea with the cricket is like, you know, if you couldn't jump on a cloud, then you can't ever jump on a cricket's back, right?
If the enemy is unprepared, you may sally forth and defeat him. But if the enemy is prepared for your coming and you fail to defeat him, then returning being impossible, disaster will ensue. When the position is such that neither side will gain by making the first move, it is called temporizing ground. In a position of this sort, even though the enemy should offer us an attractive bait, it will be advisable not to stir forth, but rather to retreat, thus enticing the enemy in his turn. Then, when part of his army has come out, we may deliver our attack with advantage. With regard to narrow passes, if you can occupy them first,
keep doing that,
let
right?
them be strongly garrisoned and await the
it's the
advent
sleigh
of
ride
enemy.
resurgence joint.
Should the army forestall you in occupying a pass, do not go after him if the pass is fully garrisoned, but only if it is weak.
Ain't no way you can't jump on a cloud during this.
With regard
No
to
fucking way.
precipitous heights,
It's not
if you
possible.
are beforehand with your adversary, you should occupy the raised and sunny spots, and there wait for him to come up. If the enemy has occupied them before you, do not follow him, but retreat and try to entice him away. If you are situated a great distance from the enemy, and the strength of the two armies is equal, it is not easy to provoke a battle.
I mean, they said you can't do
to
it,
your disadvantage.
but I haven't seen anybody
These
not
6
do it.
are the
right?
principles connected with Earth.
I didn't see you
A
not
general
do it.
who has attained a responsible post must be careful to study them.
You said you gone.
Now an army is exposed to 6 several
you
calamities,
couldn't, but like the
not
cricket
arising
says that
from
you
natural
can,
causes,
so
but from faults for which
explain
the
that.
general is responsible. These are 1. Flight,
Yeah,
2.
this is like a
Insubordination,
Christmas story,
3. Collapse, 4. Ruin,
they said all the
5.
reindeer
Disorganization,
cloud tritters.
and 6. Rout.
It's that blitzkrieg.
Other conditions being equal, if one force is hurled against another 10 times its size, the result will be the flight of the former. When the common soldiers are too strong and their officers too weak, the result is
I
insubordination.
think that's Donner.
When the officers are too strong and the common soldiers too weak,
Blitzkrieg.
the result is collapse. When the higher officers are angry and insubordinate, and on meeting the
Vixen, I
enemy
think
give
that's
battle on their own account from a feeling
Donner.
of resentment, before the commander-in-chief
Blitzkrieg.
can tell whether or no he is in a
It's one of
position
the
to
reindeer.
fight, the result is ruin.
We go phase 2, baby.
When the general is weak and
Big
without
slam.
authority, when his orders are not clear and distinct, when there are no fixed duties assigned to
He got
officers
up,
and
they
men,
like, shake
and
it
the
up.
ranks are formed in a
Phase 2.
slovenly, haphazard
Slam that
manner,
nigga.
the result is utter disorganization. When a general, unable to estimate the enemy's strength, allows an inferior force to engage a larger
yes, they
one,
got involved.
or hurls a weak detachment against a powerful one, and neglects to place picked soldiers in the front rank, the result must be rout.
You can't take damage.
These are 6 ways of courting defeat, which must be carefully noted by the general who has attained a responsible
but you can
post.
attack through it.
The natural formation of the country is the soldier's best ally, but a power of estimating the adversary, of controlling the forces of
Maybe you
victory,
might be able to
and of
attack
shrewdly
through it,
calculating
maybe.
difficulties, dangers, and distances, constitutes the test of a great general.
There's no guarantee.
He who knows these things, and in fighting puts his knowledge into practice, will win his battles.
Their armor was
He who knows
invincible
them not,
until some
nor
shit broke
practices
it.
them,
Right.
will surely be defeated. If fighting is sure to result in victory, then you must fight. even though the ruler forbid it.
I mean, you're
If
almost
fighting will
done.
not result in victory, then you must not fight, even at the ruler's bidding. The general who advances without coveting fame and retreats without fearing disgrace, whose only
Gotta
thought
be
is
another
to
thing.
protect
Oh,
his
no, is
country
it?
and
Oh,
do
damn.
good service for his sovereign, is the jewel of the kingdom. Regard your soldiers as your children, and they will follow you into the deepest valleys. Look upon them as your beloved sons, and they will stand
And
by
it's like a
you
griffin.
even unto death. If, however, you
Yeah.
are indulgent but unable to make your authority felt, kind-hearted but
Nasty.
unable to enforce your commands, and incapable, moreover, of quelling
What,
disorder,
they just like
then
tried
your
to kill
soldiers
Christmas,
must be likened
cuz.
to spoiled children. They are useless for any practical
Pay
purpose.
attention.
If we know that our own men are in a condition to attack, but are unaware that the enemy is not open to attack, we have gone only halfway towards victory. If we know that the enemy is open to attack, but are unaware that our own men are not in a condition to attack, we have gone only halfway towards victory.
Call them kid.
If we know that the enemy is open to attack, and also know that our men are in a condition to attack, but are unaware that the nature of the ground makes fighting impracticable, we have still only gone halfway towards victory. Hence the experienced soldier, once in motion, is never bewildered. Once he has broken camp, he is never at a loss.
Is he doing like
Hence the
filth
saying,
thing where he turns
if you
into,
know
like,
the enemy
swimmer
and know yourself, your victory will not stand in doubt.
With,
If you know heaven
just one
and
of them
know
joints
earth, you may make your victory complete.
where you might be the villain, like the whole time.
11. The 9 situations. Sun Tzu said, the art of war recognizes 9 variations of ground. 1. Dispersive ground. 2. Facile ground. 3. Contentious ground.
That Mike Tyson
4.
guy, man.
Open
What a
ground.
legend.
5. Ground of intersecting highways. 6. Serious ground. 7. Difficult ground. 8. Hemmed-in ground.
hard to
And
break it
9.
back.
Desperate ground.
Getting the new game, sparkling
When a chieftain is in his own territory,
Sparkle.
it is
What?
dispersive ground. When he has penetrated into hostile territory, but to no great distance,
He said
it is
Dragon Ball
facile ground.
Z.
Ground the possession of which imports great advantage to either side is contentious ground. Ground on which each side has liberty of movement is open ground. Ground which forms the key to 3 contiguous states, so that he who occupies it first has most of the empire at his command, is a ground of intersecting highways. When an army has penetrated into the heart of a hostile country, leaving a number of fortified cities in its rear, it is serious ground. Mountain forests, rugged steeps, marshes and fens, all country that is hard to traverse, this is difficult ground. Ground which is reached through narrow gorges, and from which we can only retire by tortuous paths so that a small number of the enemy would suffice to crush a large body of our men, this is hemmed-in ground. Ground on which we can only be saved from destruction by fighting without delay is desperate ground. On dispersive ground, therefore, fight not. On facile ground, halt not. On contentious ground, attack not. On open ground, do not try to block the enemy's way. On the ground of intersecting highways, join hands with your allies. On serious ground, gather in plunder. In difficult ground, keep steadily on the march. On hemmed-in ground, resort to stratagem. On desperate ground, fight. Those who were called skillful leaders of old knew how to drive a wedge between the enemy's front and rear, to prevent cooperation between his large and small divisions, to hinder the good troops from rescuing the bad, the officers from rallying their men. When the enemy's men were united, they managed to keep them in disorder. When it was to their advantage, they made a forward move. When otherwise, they stopped still. If asked how to cope with a great host of the enemy in an orderly array and on the point of marching to the attack, I should say, begin by seizing something which your opponent holds dear. Then he will be amenable to your will. Rapidity is the essence of war. Take advantage of the enemy's unreadiness. Make your way by unexpected routes and attack unguarded spots.
And, you know,
The following are principles to be observed by an invading force. The further you penetrate into a country, the greater will be the solidarity of your troops, and thus the defenders will not prevail against you. Make forays into fertile country in order to supply your army with food. Carefully study the well-being of your men, and do not overtax them. Concentrate your energy and hoard your strength. Keep your army continually on the move and devise unfathomable plans. Throw your soldiers into positions whence there is no escape, and they will prefer death to flight. If they will face death, there is nothing they may not achieve. Officers and men alike will put forth their uttermost strength. Soldiers, when in desperate straits, lose the sense of fear. If there is no place of refuge, they will stand firm. If they are in hostile country, they will show a stubborn front. If there is no help for it, they will fight hard. Thus, without waiting to be marshalled, the soldiers will constantly be on the qui-vive. Without waiting to be asked, they will do your will. Without restrictions, they will be faithful. Without giving orders, they can be trusted. Prohibit the taking of omens, and do away with superstitious doubts. Then, until death itself comes, no calamity need be feared. If our soldiers are not overburdened with money, it is not because they have a distaste for riches. If their lives are not unduly long, it is not because they are disinclined to longevity. On the day they are ordered out to battle, your soldiers may weep. Those sitting up bedewing their garments, and those lying down letting the tears run down their cheeks. But let them once be brought to bay, and they will display the courage of a Chu or a Kuei. The skillful tactician may be likened to the Shui Jian. Now the Shui Jian is a snake that is found in the Chong Mountains. Strike at its head and you will be attacked by its tail. Strike at its tail and you will be attacked by its head. Strike at its middle, and you will be attacked by head and tail both. Asked if an army can be made to imitate the Shui Jian, I should answer yes. For the men of Wu and the men of Yue are enemies, yet if they are crossing a river in the same boat and are caught by a storm, they will come to each other's assistance, just as the left hand helps the right. Hence, it is enough to put one's trust in the tethering of horses and the burying of chariot wheels in the ground. The principle on which to manage an army is to set up one standard of courage which all must reach. How to make the best of both strong and weak, that is a question involving the proper use of ground. Thus the skillful general conducts his army just as though he were leading a single man willy-nilly by the hand. It is the business of a general to be quiet and thus ensure secrecy, upright and just, and thus maintain order. He must be able to mystify his officers and men by false reports and appearances, and thus keep them in total ignorance. By altering his arrangements and changing his plans, he keeps the enemy without definite knowledge. By shifting his camp and taking circuitous routes, he prevents the enemy from anticipating his purpose. He burns his boats and breaks his cooking pots. Like a shepherd driving a flock of sheep, he drives his men this way and that, and nothing knows whither he is going. To muster his host and bring it into danger, this may be termed the business of a general. The different measures suited to the 9 varieties of ground, the expediency of aggressive or defensive tactics, and the fundamental laws of human nature, these are things that must most certainly be studied. When invading hostile territory, the general principle is that penetrating deeply brings cohesion. Penetrating but a short way means dispersion. When you leave your own country behind and take your army across neighborhood territory, you find yourself on critical ground. When there are means of communication on all 4 sides, the ground is one of intersecting highways. When you penetrate deeply into a country, it is serious ground. When you penetrate but a little way, it is facile ground. When you have the enemy's strongholds on your rear and narrow passes in front, it is hemmed-in ground. When there is no place of refuge at all, it is desperate ground. Therefore, on dispersive ground I would inspire my men with unity of purpose. On facile ground I would see that there is close connection between all parts of my army. On contentious ground I would hurry up my rear. On open ground I would keep a vigilant eye on my defences. On ground of intersecting highways I would consolidate my alliances. On serious ground I would try to ensure a continuous stream of supplies. On difficult ground I would keep pushing on along the road. On hemmed-in ground I would block any way of retreat. On desperate ground I would proclaim to my soldiers the hopelessness of saving their lives. For it is the soldier's disposition to offer an obstinate resistance when surrounded, to fight hard when he cannot help himself, and to obey promptly when he has fallen into danger. We cannot enter into alliance with neighbouring princes until we are acquainted with their designs. We are not fit to lead an army on the march unless we are familiar with the face of the country, its mountains and forests, its pitfalls and precipices, its marshes and swamps. We shall be unable to turn natural advantages to account unless we make use of local guides.
Shouldn't be hard to find.
To be ignorant of any one of the following 4 or 5 principles does not befit a warlike prince. When a warlike prince attacks a powerful state, his generalship shows itself in preventing the concentration of the enemy's forces. He overawes his opponents, and their allies are prevented from joining against him. Hence he does not strive to ally himself with all and sundry, nor does he foster the power of other states. He carries out his own secret designs, keeping his antagonists in awe. Thus he is able to capture their cities and overthrow their kingdoms.
Man, Art of War is pretty quick.
Bestow rewards without regard to rule. Issue orders without regard to previous arrangement.
Everything you need to know
will be able
about
to handle
war
a whole
in
army
Africa.
as though you had to do
well.
with but a single man. Confront your soldiers with the deed itself, not let them know your design. When the outlook is bright,
The reason I
bring it
play
before
it so
their
much
eyes.
is because nobody
Tell them
watches the
nothing
stream.
when the
right?
situation is gloomy. Place your
So,
army
like,
in
any
deadly
point
peril, and it will survive.
Around like, oh,
Plunge
you know,
it
what
into
was I
desperate
doing
straits,
during that
and it
stream?
will come off
Oh,
in
Art of
safety.
War is playing at some point.
For it is precisely when a force has fallen into harm's way that it is capable
think
of
about this
striking a
shit
blow for
constantly,
victory. Success in
Not
warfare is
spoiling your
gained by
troops.
carefully accommodating ourselves to the enemy's purpose.
You gotta be
Persistently hanging
compassionate.
on the enemy's flank, we shall succeed in the long
them
run
like they're
in
people.
killing the commander-in-chief.
What else?
This is called ability to accomplish a thing by sheer cunning.
The people
Day
who
that
are
you
sent to
take
get
up
water
command,
first
block the frontier passes, destroy
drink
the
the water
official
first,
tallies,
and
and
then
stop
the
the
armies
passage
die
of
in the
all
third.
emissaries.
Novo Nordisk drives
Be
teams
stern
to
in the
defeat
council
diabetes
chamber.
Those who are sent to draw water drink water first.
If the enemy
Everybody's dying
leaves
in
the
the
door
thirst.
open, you must rush in. Forestall your opponent by seizing what he holds dear, and subtly contrive to time his arrival on the ground. Walk in the path defined by rule, and accommodate yourself to the enemy until you can fight a decisive
See,
battle.
like with the cricket, right? Where you can jump
At
on that
first, then,
motherfucker
exhibit the
from
coyness
the
of
cloud.
laser until the enemy gives
Talking
you an
about you
opening.
can't get on the cloud.
Afterwards, emulate the rapidity of a running hare, and it will be too late for the enemy to oppose you.
So
12.
strange.
The attack by fire. Sun Tzu said, there are 5 ways of attacking with fire. The first is to burn soldiers in their camp. The second is to burn stores. The third is to
It's almost
burn
2 o'clock,
baggage
then.
trains.
It's
The
1:47
fourth is to burn arsenals and magazines.
a.m.
The
Eastern
fifth
time.
is to
Weird
hurl
shit
dropping
is like
fire amongst the
United
enemy.
States time zones.
In order to carry
Go
out
to
an
like
attack,
Hawaii.
you must have means
with like
available.
a 6-hour difference
The
between
material
these
for raising fire should always be kept in readiness.
That's
There
one
is
of
a
them
proper
joint
season
where,
for
like,
making
if you're a
attacks
streamer
with fire, and special days for starting a
in
conflagration. The
in
proper
the
season
48
is when
states.
the weather is very dry. The special days
You have
are
viewership
those when
in
the moon is
Alaska,
in the
in
constellations
Hawaii,
of the sieve, the wall, the wing,
where
or
there's
the
such a like
crossbar.
gigantic time
For
difference
these
between the
4
two of
are all
you.
days of rising wind.
That for you,
In
like, when
attacking
you
with
stream
fire,
at night,
one
like
should
it
be
ain't really
prepared
night
to
for
meet
them.
5
cuz. You could be streaming at like
When fire breaks out
fucking
inside the enemy's
3 o'clock in the morning.
Respond at
and
once with an attack from without.
It ain't even midnight
2.
for them niggas,
If there is an outbreak of fire but the enemy soldiers remain quiet, bide your time and do not attack. 3. When the force of the flames has reached its height, follow it up with an attack if that
Pretty
is
sure you can just jump
practicable.
on the cloud and
Not,
fight.
stay where you are.
Alright, well,
4.
we
If
go
it is
Washington,
possible to make an
DC,
assault
you,
with fire from without, do not wait for it to break out within, but deliver your attack at a favourable moment. And 5. When you start a fire, be windward of it. Do not attack from the leeward. A wind that rises in the daytime lasts long, but a night breeze soon falls. In every army, the 5 developments connected with fire must be known, the movement of the stars calculated, and a watch kept for the proper days. Those who use fire as an aid to the attack show intelligence.
PC that I stream on,
Those who use water as an aid to the attack gain an
about
exceptional
$700.
strength.
So
By means of water, an enemy may be intercepted, but
I
not
can never
robbed
justify
of all
buying a
his belongings.
PlayStation 5. Like,
Unhappy is the fate of one who tries to win his
especially
battles
considering
and succeed
that I
in
used
his
the
attacks
PlayStation 4
without
to like stream
cultivating the
everything.
spirit of enterprise. For the result is waste of
To
time and general
my
stagnation.
capture card on my PC.
Hence the saying, the enlightened ruler lays his plan